And an idea. So, like, one of the ideas that I was just inspired.
Closer to the mic.
So you were talking about how people have different ideas and they argue because of it. So and then you said like most of the times they both may be right. So like this just made me think about the verses of the Quran having different explanations, and so it's like so I just think that that's really motivating to think that when we read the Quran, we don't always have to think am I right about something, but it's more like this is the experience that my heart had on it, the reflection, you know, like because everyone is different. So I just and my question is just like basically what do you think about the Quran, different meanings, and how maybe since it's sent from Allah, everyone is a creation, so everyone has an independent reaction with this. So it's basically like that those are my feelings. But I just was very interested in this topic.
Yeah, thank you for answering that question, because also it gets back to Oludamane's question that about the polyvalence of the Quran that we didn't answer before.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And we'll make this the last question. So if you can also wrap up your concluding thoughts, and if you have anything. Oh, I don't see anyone. Oh, actually, there's someone else back there. It's blocked. Okay, one more. So you will be the last.
All right.
And then when he comes, I'll ask for your concluding thoughts.
All right. So yeah, I think that is, but that one does have to make the distinction within this regarding this last question. That yes, every verse I think is addressed to the individual hearing or reading that verse at that particular time, and that things can come from that, and that it's an intimate conversation between the individual and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's addressed directly to the heart. Now, however, the issues that might come to mind from that are not ones that are necessarily that then apply outside of that to others. And so, you know, whatever inspiration you have, it doesn't mean it's always necessarily right, but this is, you know, there's a very technical science within the classical Islamic tradition of knowing, you know, what you could call the places from which inspirations arise, and that is a very technical science. That are the al-waridat al-qalbiyya. You know, where did they actually come from? And actually, one time I asked a Sufi sheikh, I said, you know, because he said, you know, particular people when they're made Sufi sheikhs by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives them a particular gift. I asked him, what's the gift He gave you? And he said, I know where people's speech is coming from when they speak. Like he could see what aspect of their being. Was it from their shahwat? Was it from their desires? Was it from the purity of heart, purity of intention, and things like this? And because we don't always know those waridat al-qalbiyya, I mean, we don't always know that, then sometimes that's one of the reasons why we can't say that this might be a more universal understanding. And it's one of the reasons why, in a sense, we have the tafsir tradition to kind of, you might say, channel some interpretations. But there is definitely, I think, first and foremost, it's an intimate conversation between the individual and God. And this gets into the polyvalence of the text, which is that really, I mean, even on the linguistic level, you've got these multiple different ways in which the Quran is recited. And then you have the possibilities that just arise from the grammar. Okay, you read it this way, you read it this way. You know, you read that as a maf'ul bihi or a hal, and all of a sudden, bam, you've got a different meaning out of the verse. And so it's on that level, just linguistically, you've got it. But then, you know, the way that this is going to come out, one of the things that we tend to not take account of is that over time in our different historical circumstances, just as today there are going to be issues regarding our historical circumstances that are going to condition how we read and interpret some of these verses, so too, in the past, there were different historical circumstances that conditioned the ways in which classical authors read and what they wrote within their tafsir at different times. You know, if there was, like, you know, Ibn Barajan at his time, the Ismailis were a big problem. And so he actually wants to write a whole idea of how one can understand the Quran that excludes the possibility of Ismaili readings. And his readings are very much, his entire approach is actually very much conditioned by that. And it doesn't mean that what he's saying is wrong. It means that at that historical period, these are some of the readings that one could come out with to answer those exigencies of the time. And they're going to come out in different ways at different times. And that is part of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserves the text. If it wasn't something that actually ended up having a different manifestation, you might say, within humanity and helping answer our questions in different ways, then it wouldn't be preserved. And it wouldn't be something that we could apply to the human condition in all times.
Thank you.